Hello, and welcome to another amazing time in data analysis. We're still going to be looking at some things in SQL. I hope you've been practicing alongside and you've been able to put them to good use. Yes, remember the end result of all of this is to make you data literate and to also sharpen your skills in such a way that when there's a need, you would arise. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at how to use the like operator in SQL. Sometimes we're faced with challenges such as searching for a specified number, a name, or printing out results based on customers' name. You could be asked to retrieve all customers' data of customers that begin with letter C. You can't just start counting them one after the other. It's going to take ages to get all of that out. That's we're not talking about even getting it right, yeah, just getting it out. Or you're looking for a particular record for a particular client and you can't remember the full name in total, like the full name, but you can remember that it contains specific characters or letters. This is where the like operator comes into play. It is a very, very good operator in SQL, and shortly you'll be seeing how to put it to use. So let's get right into it. Alright, before I go further, I've already connected to my database engine and I'm working with BTM6. So I came here and I changed, it was on master. I made sure it was reflecting BTM6. So I picked BTM6, right? 6, right? And I went ahead to open a new query. That's why you're having this part, just in case you're using this and you're wondering, how did she go about it? How does she have this? So that's how I did it. Alright, so let me tell you a little about the like operator. The like operator is used to retrieve the data in a column of a table based on a specified pattern. This specified pattern could be positioning, characters, maybe it contains a particular character, or it contains, I know the person's name is NA. Yes, there's NA. The A is like in the second position. So that's a specified pattern. That means we're looking at the positioning of the character or the text or the letter. It could also be the number of characters it contains, maybe 4 characters and all of that. So there's actually a pattern to this number. Alright. I'll begin by first showing you what I have in my database, just in case it's your first time of seeing this video. So you'll be up and you'd understand what we are doing. Alright. So I'm going to be showing you what I have inside of this database called BTM6. I'm using the select command, so I'm going to type in select star. Whenever you do select star, it brings out all the information, all the columns, right, and the records you have in that particular table. I have 2 tables in this database. The first one is the staff info table and the second one is the staff salary. So I'm just going to be querying the staff info and the staff salary side by side. So select star from staff salary. So I'm going to execute this code by clicking on execute and come down to the message section so you can see what I have here. Yes, so I have, this is for staff salary. It has ID, job title, and salary. Okay, and if you just joined, you might not understand, but in the last class I taught how to modify records, right? How to modify records, and many of these records were changed. You can see the effect is still there. And this is for staff info. It contains the staff ID, first name, last name, age, and the gender of all the staff in the organization. So depending on the database you're working on, the list could go on and on and on, or it could be a short list. Let's try using the like operator, shall we? So I'm going to start a code right now, but I won't be able to finish it because I have to teach you something that you have to know when you're using the like operators. The like operator is not just used on its own, it's used in accompaniment with what we call wildcards. Wild cards. No, they are not cats that are wild animals. They are just wild cards. And so let me start the code and I'll show you and enlighten you about wild cards. So let's start. Remember, we're actually searching out particular information. So I will say select. Even if you type it in small letters, it's fine. It will still perform what it's for, right? Just me, a way of keeping it now looking good. So when you look at it, you say, oh, this is the statement and this is the table name, just for teaching. But you could actually type everything with small letters and just give you the same result. So yes, you can type with small letters. Select our first name, right? Look at this. We have first name, we have last name. Let's say we want to bring out all the records, right, for John. I can say select star where name is John. It will bring out the same thing. But let's say we didn't know the person's name is John, but we want all names that begin with letter J. First name begins with letter J. What do we do? I say select star, right? I can say select star from staff info where name equals J. It's not going to give me any information because there's no name that is J. Do you see that? That means you can't use just the where function alone, but you can use the where function in accompaniment with the like operator to get that desired result. So select star, that's every record about this person from this table is actually the staff info. Why this is staff salary? So what I'm talking about now is staff info. So I'm just going to call that up staff info, where condition, right, where first name, right, where first name like J. Remember, J is a string, so you have to put it in a quote sign, right? I want to show you something. So if I put this and I run this code, you'll find that I'm going to be getting an error. See, there's nothing there. So there's no name like J. But we know that someone's name there is John. That is where the white cards come in. So what are white cards? White cards are special characters, right? They are used in SQL queries to match patterns in the data. So following are white cards that are used in like operator in SQL database. So I'm going to show you two white cards that are mostly used in our SQL database, right? So the first one is a sign, also called the percent sign. The percent sign, when it is used with the like operator, right, in the SQL database, it represents 0, 1, or multiple characters, depending on the position it is used. I'll talk about that later and I'll show you examples. The second white card you should know about is this underscore. This one. Yes. The underscore represents a single number or character. So that means if I put 1 dash, that's 1 underscore, it represents 1 number. If I put 2, it represents 2 characters or 2 numbers. Do you understand that? While this percentage represents 0 or multiple characters. Let me show you how we use them. So back to our code. Let's say we add the percentage here before J. This is percentage before J, and I'm going to execute this code. Remember, when it was just J, it didn't give us any return any information on any of the staff. It just gave us the column headers. So let me execute this. You see, it's not returning anything. Do you know why? Because the position of this percentage tells the database the particular position you're looking for letter J. When the percentage is before the character or the letter, it tells it that, oh, give me every information of names that ends with J. When the percentage is after the letter or character, it says, please give me every information of letters or of names that begin with letter J. I know normally it's supposed to be the reverse. Like if it's before, that means it begins with. But no, in SQL databases, it is not so. Once the percentage sign is before the character, it means it ends with J. If it's after the character, it means it begins with the character, in this case J. But if it's in between, let's say the character is in between two percentages, it means this number or this thing we are looking for contains J. We don't know the position, but it contains J. I'm going to execute. I'm going to try 3 of them and I'm going to show you what it gives. So because I've tried this one, I don't want to change it, so I'm going to leave it. Let me copy it with Ctrl C and I'm going to paste it with Ctrl V and try the next one. So the next one, I'm going to put the percentage behind J. Did you see this? And let us run this code, this query. Can you see we finally have an information on John, because John begins with letter J. And once you put your wildcard after J, it means give me all records of names that begin with letter J. Did you see that? So I'm going to also paste again and show you the third part. What if the J is in the middle? What would it return? Let's execute this. Can you see? It's just giving us John. It says, please give me all the records that contain letter J. Whether it's starting with J, whether it's ending with J, please return those values. And in this case, we are having just John. So let's go back to our staff info and execute. Let's see the names we have. If we have anyone that begins with letter J but was not returned. This. I hope you're reading through. There's no name that begins with letter J. From what I have here, none. Let me scroll down a bit so you can see. You see, there's no name that begins with letter J. But I can see more than one name that begins with P. So maybe I should change it to P or E so that you can see the change that's being effected, right? So I'm going to leave this and go to the next one. Since it's the same code, I'm just going to paste it and just change the character to P. So once, remember, when it's before, it means what? It means what? Yes, it means return the values that end with P, right? So let me execute this. There's no name that ends with P. That's why it's not giving us anything. So let's, I'm going to just work on it. What about a name that begins with P? So I'm going to put the percent after P. Remember that percent is called a wildcard. Please use the term wildcard. Alright, when I put the wildcard after P, I found it returned 2 rows. The first is Philemon and the second is Phil. Can you see? Can you see? The Philemon and Phil. Can you see that? Alright, now you can see that. Let's put P in the middle and see if it will return anything. I went to run all the queries. Sorry, let me highlight just the one I want. Can you see? It's not returning 2 anymore, it's returning 3. And Stephen is part of it because Stephen contains the letter P. So once you put the character or the number in between the sign, it returns every value that contains that character or alphabet. Let's try with something like letter E. That is very, vowels are mainly used in names. E, A, O. Oh, no. Okay, so we're having Edna Welly, we're having Izine Coyote, we're having a different care, we're having Philemon, we're having, you see, they they don't begin or end with letter E, but it's returning all of them because as far as your name contains a letter E, it's going to return it. Did you get that? Right. So how do we now use the underscore? How do we use the underscore? Let's say we're looking for a particular name that we're looking for a particular name that contains the underscore, remember, is used to number of characters, right? That's what it's used to represent, number of characters. So if I paste this code that I have done, and before, let me use something else. Let me use E this time around. And before E, I put one dash. That's one underscore. And I run this code. This code or query. It's going to return names that have E as the ending letter. That's the end with E. Can you see? Adefunke does not begin with letter E. But because remember, when the percentage is before the letter, it means ending. So what this code is please return the information on staff info that their first name, the first name end with letter E. That's it contains another letter and letter E. Did you get that? Yes. So it's going to return names that have letter E. Okay. What if I put the underscore before the E? I mean after the E. So let's say E and dash. What I'm telling this to do is give me names that have E before the last letter. Names that have E before the last letter. Let me execute this. Can you see it has given us Stephen because it has E before the last letter, and Bethel because it has E before the last letter. So that's how to use the underscore. I'll take 2 more examples and that'll be it. So it's just almost the same code, but let me change it to last name, right? Because the change is affecting it from the first name. So let me change to last name. So you just say, is it just first name to affect? Doesn't it affect last name? I don't understand, ma. So okay, so this time around I'll be using A, right? I'll use A. So I'm going to say the ones that their second character is A. So to say second character is A, I'll put this underscore as the first character, and the second character I'll write the letter A. Then do you want it at the start or at the end? I want it at the start. That means the name should be, let's say, banana that has second letter A or something like that. So I'm going to put the percent after letter A to establish that, and I'll execute this query. Can you see it has returned last name? Oh, don't look at the first name, look at the last name. That's the column that is affecting the change across board. So we have Happy here, Happy, second letter A, right? We have Coyote, second letter A. We have Bankole, second letter is A. We have Lawal, second letter A. Okay, so I want just this now. Let's say third letter W. So how do you represent third letter? This is second letter A. To represent third letter, you put first underscore. You put your first underscore. Remember, you begin with your quote. Then you put your first underscore. This is your first letter. This is your first letter. It's your second letter. And the third letter is W. Right? And since you're counting from the start, you want to put your percent after that letter. But if you're counting backwards, you put it before you start putting your dash. All right, so I'm going to put that, and I'm going to close the quote sign. It's supposed to give me Stephen Lawal, so let me execute this code. Okay, so it didn't give us the required information because we didn't effect our change. We're supposed to change this to last name, so let's do that. Let's change it to last name. Okay, since we've done that, okay, The reason it didn't work was because remember we were using last name, and when we executed this code, we wanted to change. Let me see so that you can see it. We want to change this Lawal, and see Lawal is on that last name, but this was showing first name. So we just did that, and now we're going to execute the code. We just did, and oh sorry, I did everything. Let me highlight the one I want. Can you see Lawal is out? So this is what you used when you're not so sure. Yes, you can use it for numbers. I didn't do an example. That's not right. I'm supposed to do one. You can use it for numbers. Yes. Let's say I want to check people that are for a number. If you're working in companies that deal with numbers and you want to check that has 2 in the second place and all of that, you still use the same thing. Yeah, you still use the same thing. Let me try one. So because I want to deal with number now, let's say 36, right? This is age, so I'm going to go to age, right? I'll change this to age. So I want the age to be like that ends with 3. So let's see if anybody's 23, 33, 13, all of that, or 43. There's nobody like that. Okay, so what if the age begins with number 3? So you put the percentage at the back, right? If it's begin with number 3. So let's execute this particular code. Can you see it has returned everybody that is in their 30s, from 30 to 38, 39, anyone. So we have different ages that begins with 30. So let's say in between, and to return the same thing because we didn't get any information for the first one. So let's use something else. Let's say 2. So I'm changing that 3 and I'm going to put in 2 and I execute it. Can you see it has brought out the names of workers or staff in their 20s? Can you see this? So this is how to get selected information from your database, right? In a structural, in a beautiful manner. Yeah, you might want to ask why this 2 is an integer, so why is it in a quote sign? It's in a quote sign because it's not just alone, it's with a percentage, and the percentage, remember, is a wildcard. So that is why it's in a quote sign, so you can accommodate everything. It won't give us error. If you bring the 2 out of the quote sign, let's say 2%, and you run the query, are you saying it says incorrect syntax near the percentage sign? Can you see? That's that white card. That's why you have to put it in the quotes. So when you run this now, it won't say incorrect syntax. It will give the required result. Please do well to practice more. Try changing things, put it second, put it third. Try changing things and see how it comes up. The goal, the way to become a great analyst is by practicing. You keep practicing and practicing and practicing. Cook up scenarios in your mind, like try to solve a problem, imagine something and try to provide solution to it. I see you next time. Bye.